guys, so we're going to be in Singapore, then we're going to go to Malaysia, Thailand. I'm going to take you guys through all the different stops. We're going to be in Singapore for a few days with the family, Christmas trip, and we're going to then end up in Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur for New Year's Eve. So it's going to be fun. We'll try to capture as much content as I can. And this time of year, end of the year, end of December, really just looking to wind down. It's been a great year. It's been a crazy year, busy year, a lot of great things. But really looking to wind down, chill, relax, just really prepare myself for the new year ahead. It's going to be a great year, 2025. So yeah, here we are. I plan to obviously spend some time with the family and just rest. Maybe do some work here and there just to stay on top of things. But yeah, we will see how we go. All right, guys. So just arrived in Singapore. About to check into the hotel. Rainy Singapore at the moment. Hopefully it clears up. But yeah, this is the So in the hotel room, very nice. Coffee machine, very important. Very spacious, and of course, this incredible view of the Marina Bay Sands Hotel and the ocean. Amazing. Let's go on and see if we can get crazy view. Alright guys, so time recording this, it is coming to the end of 2024, and by the time we're watching this, maybe it's already 2025. So what I want to do is I want to share some insights, some thoughts going into 2025 for e-commerce brands in general. So I believe that the e-commerce brands that are going to do the best in 2025 and really thrive and grow are the ones that are going to be able to spend the most to acquire a customer. Now, why do I say this? Well, we all know that advertising costs are increasing, right? CPMs rise, that's just the way it goes. But there's other factors in play, right? You have businesses like Temu, right, that we saw this year, how impactful that was on advertising costs and just the competition in general. Competition is always going to be increasing year over year, right? I think as well, like TikTok Shop, right, depending on if maybe TikTok is banned or not by the time you're watching this, but that's another factor that comes in play, right? So with all these headwinds, like how are we able to continue growing and scaling with the clients that we work with? And it really comes down to looking more like holistically at the business. So when I say businesses that can spend the most to acquire a customer, it just means that you are offsetting those increases in costs that are coming with the competition and the market challenges that I mentioned. So you really want to be focusing on LTV. If you don't know your LTV numbers, start there, right? If you're on Shopify, you can install an app called Lifetimely that's going to help you identify where your LTV numbers are. You want to assign timeframes to the LTV number, because LTV is useless unless you assign a timeframe to it, because the timeframe indicates when you're going to realize that LTV, right? So assign 30 day, 60 day, 90 day, 180 day, 365 day timeframes to your LTV. Really depends on the type of product you're selling and the repeat purchase rate and the frequency of that. But if you have some numbers there, you can start setting some benchmarks, right? So we like to look at 30 to 60 day LTV be 30% higher than the first order AOV, and 365 day LTV is 100% higher than the first order AOV, okay? Now, if you currently look at those benchmarks and they're not yet there, then you have some work to do, and you can put a plan in place as to how you might be able to get there. So other areas, of course, conversion optimization, increasing AOV is going to be super, super important for that first purchase. So if you want first order profitability, that is key, right? Now, there's other areas, right? You can look at your P&L. You might be able to optimize your operating expenses. You might be able to optimize your cost of goods sold, which granted is harder to do depending on your scale, but there might be some efficiencies that you can find within your P&L to try and decrease those costs, right? Because there's one thing here, standing here saying, yeah, just increase your ad performance, improve the ad performance, do whatever. But we all know that there's limits to that, right? And if you want to scale ad spend continuously, then you're going to eventually hit like a plateau in terms of what you can actually achieve in terms of ROAS or CPA. So you have to be looking at those other levers that you could pull in the P&L. Okay, so those are my thoughts. If you take this holistic view going into 2025, I think you're going to be set up a lot better for success this year. And these are just speaking from what we're going to be doing with the brands that we work with. So yeah, hopefully that helps, and hope you enjoy the rest of the vlog. Guys, so after having a little walk around Singapore, we decided to go to one of the hawker markets. This one is Lau Pa Sat. It's one of the most popular ones in Singapore, and yeah, it's a cool lot of local food, street food. We found this place on the internet, which apparently sells one of the best local cuisine dishes in the market. I can't remember the name, but this is the restaurant here. As you'll see, it's also like Michelin recommended, which is pretty crazy for a restaurant in a hawker market. But yeah, we had the food, we ordered it, we didn't wait too long, and it was ready. And yeah, you can see that here. It was amazing food. So yeah, if you're in Singapore, definitely recommend you go to this hawker market and try some of the local food. And speaking of food, I want to show you some of the other restaurants we went to during our time in Singapore. So the first one here is a Chinese restaurant. We had this amazing duck, among other dishes. And then on another night, we went to this place called Cut by Wolfgang Puck. And let me tell you, this steak here was the best I've ever had in my life. Doesn't look like much when you see the visuals here. But let me tell you, it's amazing. We had the Wagyu, and yeah, the steak was like butter. Then of course we had to have some desserts, which you can see here. I had the soufflé de fondant, where they poured this chocolate into it, which was also really nice. So again, if you're in Singapore, definitely go to Cut by Wolfgang Puck. It's probably, as I mentioned, the best steak I've ever had in my life. One of the best meals I've ever had in my life. So yeah, highly recommend. So the next day in Singapore, we decided to go to Raffles Long Bar, which is a world famous bar in Singapore. I think it's from the 40s or 50s when it was first opened, but it is very popular for the Singapore Sling, which is the cocktail that comes from Singapore. So this is the bar, they refurbished it, and this is how it looks. So cool place, busy place. The cocktails were nice, and yeah, we got to do that as well. After that, we decided to do a little bit more exploring around Singapore, just going around, seeing some of the sights, the things to see, walking around the city, just taking it all in. Singapore really is a beautiful city. I highly recommend visiting. There's a lot of things to do and see, a lot of amazing architecture, buildings, just a lot of things to see, not just the food. So yeah, that is what we did after that. So our last day in Singapore, we actually joined a cruise ship. Now, to get all the content from the cruise ship and beyond into this vlog is going to be way too much. So there is going to be a part 2 and maybe even a part 3 coming soon. So keep an eye on that. I hope you enjoyed this vlog, and I'll see you in the next video.